Yo, it's good. This is the Arlington Cinema Drafthouse podcast. I'm the host, Petey Steele.
And I'm your co-host, Elena Torres. And today we have two of my favorite comics in the game. They're coming here on September 20th and 21st with your girl opening for them. It's going to be a great time. We're going to talk to them. We're going to have a great combo. Please welcome Carlos Santos and Francisco Ramos.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you guys for having me. Yes.
Francisco, you're representing, man. You got the O's hat, the Thievery Corporation on the wall.
That's right. Oh man, glad you noticed. Yeah, old DC America. Yes. Big fans
right.
of both of those bands and teams. So yeah, representing.
So you guys are on the road together again. What made you guys start wanting to tour together?
We worked together. We met a long time. We had been we've been friends in the world of comedy and acting for a while, but it wasn't until we did Hentified a few years ago. We worked together for a little bit, and then it just seemed like a good idea because there were a couple other comedians that were doing the show. It just felt like a really good idea to do like a little tour for promotion and try to get something together. But unfortunately, right, this is the short version of the story, is like not everybody could do it. And so it ended up being just the two of us, and it kind of like worked out really well. We didn't have any expectations going into it other than just to perform. But then pretty soon we started figuring out that we had like a lot of chemistry with the crowds together. Like it just kind of happened. Do you remember the first time we did crowd work? We were just kind of like messing around with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was when we did the Batavia one, right? I feel that's
yeah, Chicago.
That's when we like really like, hey, let's start doing something.
Chicago suburb. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw people posting about that, I was like, what is Batavia? I thought maybe it was like
It's because
some
we were
like
also
little
saying
Latin town.
Batavia.
Yeah.
If we were just saying Batavia, it'd be fine, but we made it seem like it's a Lord of the Rings location.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah, it does kind of sound like that.
To me, it is. What is Batavia or Batavia?
It's a suburb in Chicago. I mean, it's like an hour, right? An hour from Chicago.
Yeah,
or something
like
that.
yeah. But I don't know what it actually means. It sounds like Bavarian. It almost sounds like a
pretzel.
Like a pretzel or a beer.
Yeah.
I feel like Batavia should have a
own beer or something like that, or their own sausage.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Francisco, we know we've had you on the pod before. We know you're originally from the area. How's it always feel to come and perform back where you're from? Well, you're from Venezuela, but back where I
grew up. It's fun. I mean, it's always, it's like, it's just fun because also I'll see a lot of friends that still live there, so that's kind of the thing. But also, it's just fun going back to where where I grew up before I even started doing comedy, because it's always like, it's a different, it's kind of like the person that I was there when I was there, and then the person that I'm when I left. So it's kind of fun to see the differences of what I liked when I was there and what now I don't like when I'm living here. So, but yeah, I always enjoy coming to DC, and it's always a great, always a lot of my good friends come through to the show. So that's always good.
And Carlos, tell us a little bit. We know that Francisco's from the area, but he's from Venezuela. But tell us about you. Where are you from? When did you come to the U.S.? All the stuff. Well, technically.
In spite of my mustache, I am from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and I left after my freshman year of college. I ended up in California. Went to Fresno State. I originally was computer engineering. I switched over to theater, and I started doing stand-up at Fresno and improv. And then eventually when I graduated, I moved down to LA, and then I just started I'd been in LA pretty much ever since. I took a little detour into hosting. I lived in New York for about 4 years when I was doing that. And I came back, and I've been here, hustling, just doing it. That's the most concise version of my.
I was gonna say that was quick. You gave us all the facts. I think that was like in a 2-minute. That was quick.
Pitch.
Yeah, exactly. So you were in New York for 4 years for comedy, or because you do a lot of acting too
at MTV. So what happened is I came out I wanted to do comedy, I wanted to do acting, and it just ended up, the opportunity to become a host kind of presented itself, and I ended up doing it for almost 7 years. I didn't really come out to do it. I didn't study communications or whatever, but I feel like the improv and the stand-up really helped kind of put me in a place where I was able to function very well. And it also helps. I think you either can read a prompter or you can't. And I think I thankfully had that going for me. So I had a pretty successful hosting career for a little bit, but it's not what I wanted to do. So ultimately I had to make a choice and start from scratch. But while I was in New York doing MTV, I would also do stand up and I would also do stuff on the side as well. So I was, it's just been a process of, kind of doing everything. As long as I was doing some kind of comedy related thing, then my comedy demons were successfully exercised.
So Carlos, I gotta know this Fresno scene. I've been to Fresno about 13, 14 years ago. It is the most bizarre town I've ever been. It was cool, but it was like stores were open 2 days a week for like 3 or 4 hour clips. They're selling like K-bar knives from Vietnam and like weird comics and Amish it was wild. And I know I went to the Tower District where like the arts was supposed to be. I didn't see anything related to like comedy. I've never heard of this market. Can you elaborate a little on that? Is it worth elaborating on? I mean, you started there.
For me, it was because I was in the dorms when I lived there. So it was very much like campus related. I enjoyed my time, but I was also insulated because it was in college. But I think I ended up performing there like at that. There's a casino that they have in downtown. That was like the first time I did a show that was like paid for. The first time opening up for. It was really cool because there were a lot of like comedians that were coming up through the valley. So I ended up like kind of cutting my teeth with like, because I started doing it in like I took a class and I kept doing it in college and stuff like for like within the community. But then I met enough people that I started getting booked around. So like I remember I opened up for comedians like Carlos Oscar. I don't know if you know Carlos Oscar is, and like Freddie Soto before he passed away. I got to really like kind of like, this was a long time ago. This was like 2003. So I was really able to have that like, ooh, drunken Mexican audience, boom, go get him. And I had like maybe 5 minutes of it. So I was like really just putting it all out there, 5 to 10 minutes. But it was great, and it was a really like interesting point in my life because I was really, when you're starting out, you're trying to find your voice and it was fun. It was a fun little thing. And it really helped me kind of set me in the right direction when I moved down to LA.
Your voice is Mexican drunk.
Yeah.
My voice is Mexican drunk.
Yeah.
My voice? Yes. Yes, is what happens is no. Yeah, I found my voice within the what I mean drunk Mexican people is that they're rowdy, so like you have to come correct, like you can't. So that was fun. And then eventually when I moved down to LA, I was doing Second City, and it was at that time it was next to the Improv, so I would like intern at Second City, and then we shared the same bathroom, so I would sneak into the Improv and I would catch shows, and eventually I started doing a lot of like the famous Refried Fridays that Richard Villa used to host a long time ago. That was kind of like my way in there.
Do you guys still have
Fresno?
contact?
Yes, Fresno very much a campus town. Sorry to go back to the question, campus town for me, but I haven't been back in a while. I think I don't have any like weird memories like that. I think it was because more like it was school related for me.
Yeah.
I've also been to Fresno. I've also been to Fresno a bunch of times, but I don't remember it. Like I don't remember, like I've been there because I have family in Sacramento. And so I've been to Fresno a couple times, but I don't really remember what's even there.
Kind of want to go back.
Other than the school.
I want to go back and perform that. I don't know why I haven't. It'd be really cool to do some dates there in Fresno. It'd be really nice to do like a comeback tour, homecoming.
Do you guys ever still get to perform for drunk Mexican audiences? I feel like you guys are touring all over the place. Like Francisco, you tour a lot.
We perform for all the drunken people.
Hey, drunks. Whatever drunk.
I have a dream.
Drunk, sober, whatever you are now. I mean, we got them people here and there that that get rowdy and that were like wanna not even rowdy, that they just want to talk, or like they just they get, sometimes they don't know how to or they're just very enthusiastic about being on the show, so they just want to like kind of be sane. So then it's kind of like you gotta be like, well, you don't have to answer everything we ask or anything like so stuff like that. But
they've never heard the phrase figure what is it, rhetorical question. They've never heard that before.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't gotten any like bad.
Yeah. I think you've gotten that, but I don't think I'll take that over like disrespectful people that are really have issues and they want to like disrupt.
Exactly. Or they just want to come in and just be
Sure.
assholes and destroy the show. Like we haven't got that. I think we get like a good crowd of people that come in and they're just kind of like just want to enjoy the show and watch the show.
Yeah. So the Mexicans are the best behaved drunks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
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 Of course, the Mexicans are the best.
That's my kind of rowdy. That's my kind of rowdy.
Right.
Sure.
Right. I find them to be super excited. I recently started, for the past year or so, I know both you guys do comedy in Spanish. I started doing comedy in Spanish like a year ago. I think it's such a cool market, such a cool audience. How have you guys found that whole scene?
Yeah, I've been doing it here, whenever there's an opportunity here in LA, there's not that many shows. So now whenever there's like a show, I'll try to do it, just to kind of work on that muscle, because I feel it is a muscle. Even though I'm fluent in Spanish, I don't have that quickness or the reps that I have in English. So I want to get to that level, but whenever I want to do it. It's just a thing of like just getting the more opportunities to do it. So the cool thing with Carlos is that since we're both fluent and, if we get like, like when we done Miami, we definitely do in Spanglish, or like even, like talk Spanish and within some people, we had one guy, I remember, like he was in the show, he didn't know, he didn't know English, and we were just,
we thought that he wasn't paying attention, but it was literally asking for like, what did he? What
yeah. It was just.
and after we talked to him in Spanish, he blossomed. He's talking.
Then he wouldn't shut up. I was like, wow.
I like that when you didn't know better. For me, it was really cool because I finally got to perform in Puerto Rico. It's crazy to me that it took this long, but like to be able to do it in Spanish and in Puerto Rico is nice for me because I feel like I can really let loose in terms of like, I'm not worried about like slang. I'm not worried, like whatever comes out. A lot of times here, I have to be very careful because I tend to speak faster in Spanish, or it tends to be a little harder for people to understand. So I have to kind of go into like, kind of like in the between mode. But in Puerto Rico, I've performed a couple of times. I performed over Christmas, and I perform every time now that I'm hooked up with some of the people that have shows over there. So now whenever I come back, I squeeze in a show or two. So I think it's really cool. It's really cool for me to kind of like, and also, which we talked about, me and Francisco talk about all the time, like if a joke works, if a material works, it should work in both. It's just a matter of how you present it, because there are a lot of phrases, that it forces you to write in a way that it's not dependent on a slang or a pop culture situation, which is like, I think, and even if it is, you just have to bring the information in a different way. But if it's foundationally strong, it's gonna work regardless of like what language you use. So it's exciting. And it's a lot of work, but it's fun. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't expect translating to be part of it. Like I thought, you'd have to write all stuff for Spanish and not, and then I translated some jokes and then they worked, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
I basically translate all my bits that work, except there, maybe a couple of ones that don't work or don't translate well, but that's
right.
Also, that's what I like to write. I like to write stuff that's kind of universal and it's not dependent on something. So like, I think that's the same thing in Spanish. And then like what Carlos said, I try to use words that are that everybody understands, kind of like the neutral Spanish vocabularies, because I want to be able to not just cater to Venezuelan people, for example, but just to anybody that understands. That's
right. And how many, in terms of like adaptation to different dialects, have you had any difficulty with that? Like Venezuelan versus Puerto Rican, or like Spanish or Mexican or anything like that?
You mean like saying it or hearing it? What do you mean exactly?
Well, like, okay, I know like certain dialects of Spanish are different in different countries and such. Now, have you had any difficulty with like different audiences you've seen from like different, like you said, you performed in Puerto Rico, or Francisco said Venezuela and such? Has that been hard translating, between those?
Well, It's yeah, I mean, I feel like if you know, especially because it's sometimes in the US, so you get a little more lenient of people that kind of like, even if you throw one word in English that people get, that kind of they get it. So I haven't had the chance to perform like in Latin America or in Spain to
No.
really see
and that would be different because of the style. I don't think it would be different because of the language, because they're used to it.
Because like they're used to another type of even in I went to Miami and I performed once in just full Spanish in this Venezuelan show, and these are Venezuelan people that are just basically just got there, so they're pretty much just Venezuelan.
Right.
You know, the stuff that I was doing, they were looking at me like, "Well, who are you?" Like, because I'm like, I have the Venezuelan accent, but I wasn't talking about that stuff that they're used to, or even using the same slang that they used to, because I don't, you know, I haven't been there in forever. So that stuff where I was like, oh, like I realized it's like, oh yeah, and that took me a little trick to be like to figure it out, because I was like, you know, I'm not fully Venezuelan, so I cannot do the stuff that they are used to, you know, if they're coming with that mindset. That's a bit
like localized or regional.
Yeah. It's like the cultural references of like what they're used to dealing about and talking about. On the
or even
daily,
the
so
or even the topics that they're used to talking, you know, especially because I left Venezuela before all the stuff that happened. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like if they're referencing stuff like that, I'm like, I didn't go through it, so I don't even know what
that's interesting.
Connect with that, you know.
Sure. So it's more topical adaptations and like dialect. Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of, because I think still a lot of Venezuelan, I mean, like a lot of like Latin culture, still a lot related to where you're from, or like a lot
100%.
of like, so, and that's the thing that I'm trying to do differently, or trying to work on, where I want to just do material that it doesn't matter where you're from, you're just gonna understand because you understand Spanish. Same thing what I do with English. You know, I can go to Australia or England and I know I can perform there and they're gonna get me, you know. So that's kind of like the same thing that I want to do, but it takes longer because I mean you have to kind of adjust the words and the vocabulary so everybody understands, you know, because if you use one word for elevator that in Venezuela they use and they don't use it in, you know, Chile or Spain, you gotta like, you know, stuff like that. Those are little things that you gotta kind of like
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like that's closer to like how comedians, when they go overseas, they go quickly around. They're like, oh, what's the version of this thing? Or what's the version of like, what do you guys consider? And it just by plugging those things in a format, you know, if your stand-up is the same, but instead of saying in the New York Times, you say whatever the paper, you know, stuff like that is, it's kind of similar. For me, when I go to Puerto Rico, the joke is the same, but then I feel like I could go regional and say certain things that are not going to work anywhere else. So that's fun for me.
But because the joke is universal. That's the thing. I think it's like
it doesn't depend on absolutely.
You make the joke regional, then it's like, then that's not gonna work no matter if you change one word or not. But if the joke is universal, and then you can change words, but if the same joke works everywhere, then that's that's the thing that you need to do to able even to connect with the crowd quicker. You know?
Right.
Yeah, you go on the road here in England, and you go like anywhere like DC or, you know, Chicago, and you talk a little bit about, you know, like little local stuff just to get the crowd in the beginning.
Sure, local color. Yeah.
Like Francisco, you had a joke. It was actually in Spanish, but it reminded me, this happens all the time. And I wonder if you have this joke in English. It's the one where you talk about, and I'm paraphrasing you, but the one where you talk about when you meet Latin people in the US and you'll talk to them in Spanish, but they pretend they don't speak Spanish, that they only speak English, but they don't even speak English. That happens to me, especially because I look like this and sound like this.
Mm-hmm.
You look like it's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, exactly. They always like I'll talk to them in Spanish, like I'm talking to them in like perfect Spanish, like especially if they're Mexican. I'm like, dude, like this is the same. And they will talk to me in like shitty English. I'm like, why?
I don't
hear me?
Yeah.
It's like, do you hear me? What's going on?
Yeah.
The old blonde Spanish speaker. I'm not.
Yeah.
They get scared. It's like, this is not, I don't trust this person. I'm not gonna pretend I know English or whatever. But I mean, and that's a joke that I started doing in English, and then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I could be like, oh, this obviously works in Spanish as well, but it had that. So that's kind of like a perfect example of a bit that I can do either way, and it's just that they work both in English and Spanish, and then I just have to change maybe like one word or one thing just to relate to that type of crowd. But but yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I like. I'm even like all the stuff that I'm working on right now. Like the other day I did a show in Spanish, and I worked on it, but like basically I was just translating, as I was doing it, like literally simultaneously and stuff like that, and
Real time. Nice.
real time. Yeah. But then I was like, but yeah, so that's cool to know that like, hey, stuff works, and it's just a matter of like, polishing the bits just in terms of the quickness of doing it, and the fast, and then just to use the words specifically, just little things like that. But that's just from practice. That's not just from, just from doing it a lot,
Well, watch out after August. After August, Francisco's gonna be unveiling his new marriage material. It's gonna be the new.
Oh yeah, are you getting married are you getting married in August?
Yeah, the 25th.
Whoa, are you still getting married in Spain? I remember you were saying that you guys were getting married in Spain. Wow, how's that going?
It's going, yeah.
He's going.
He's going.
Happening. Yeah, no, it's pretty much everything's ready, like in terms of the whole organization. It's just now it's just getting there, and then getting all the people organized. Carlos is going, which is cool.
Nice.
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward.
Where?
So the wedding is in Denia, which is it's like a big beach city next, like an hour from Valencia and an hour from Alicante, and like
I've been there.
You've been there?
I lived in Spain for a year when I was in college.
Oh, cool.
Where?
Sevilla.
Oh yeah, south.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that's where it is.
Try doing a Spanish set sometime soon and see how badly I butcher it from my 20 years ago, but I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, no, that's people always like that, especially like I think Spanish speaking people, they always love to hear somebody that doesn't has an accent when they speak Spanish. That's just a thing that everybody will like. You'll always get the crowd with you just because you're trying.
Yeah, gringo with courage. Hell yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the name of your special.
That's gringo with courage in Telemundo.
Yeah.
Sort of like, when I was there, the first month or so, just trying out Spanish vocabulary to like learn how to form sentences. And it was like full of false cognates and words that don't translate wrong. Like I remember one time I was telling them I didn't want to eat as much food as I was enjoying there because I was going to gain weight. And I said to them, estoy comiendo menos preservativos.
And you know what's really funny about that? That in Spain, preservatives is what they call condoms. Did you know that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying. Sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, oh, no. For any English speaking listeners, that's
clarify for
Carlos took care of that for you.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No, totally cool.
That's fine. Man. Like, why are you eating so many condoms?
Yeah.
You're not
Try
supposed
to eat less. Try to eat less condoms.
Yeah. I'm working on it still.
Yeah. But looking forward to the wedding happening. So yeah, that's I'm definitely I think everything like, with me, like I just try to work with material that, it definitely will come, something will happen and a lot of stuff will happen that I'm going to start.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. How has been planning the wedding from far away? Has that been dramatic?
Yeah, it actually has been pretty, hasn't been that bad. We did go in April to kind of like meet everybody and kind of check everything and all that stuff. But yeah, we have a great wedding planner, and she's very like, like on top of everything. Every time we have a question, she answers right back. So it's been, and now with like technology, it's not, it's not hard to just, and
not with AI, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm actually not going to the wedding. It's just an AI version.
I think I'm talking to a person. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it hasn't been that hard. That's the cool thing about it.
And Carlos, are you making a trip out of it? Are you going to be there for a long time?
No, actually, I think I'm in between. I don't know, because I have some stuff coming up before and after, so I might be only taking advantage of that weekend.
Oh, dude, get an AI comic. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. I gotta clone AI for myself. I'm gonna try to see, but the problem with me and my entire life and careers is that it's really hard for me to plan ahead. And Francisco knows this, so that's why anytime that I famously plan for something ahead, I end up spending double because I end up spending the thing and the paying to change it and whatever. So literally I get to a point where it's like, I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna wait till I get closer, a little bit more clarity and it pays out because I literally just have some stuff like it might be happening like the 19th. So it might be doing that and then taking over and then like moving forward. It's gonna get pretty hectic around that time. So I would love to stay longer, but I have to be I have to be reasonable about the trip.
Yeah.
Also, I've been to Spain a lot, so it's fine. I'm not I used to date a girl from Spain, so there was a chunk of time where I should clarify that I've been to Spain. There was a span of 2 years where I went.
No wonder you got the condom reference.
Yeah, yes. So I'm happy to go, and I've never been to Denia, but I've put in my time in Spain. I think,
Right.
I don't have to stay longer than I have to.
Yeah, safer maybe to stay not that long. That's cool. I'm picking up what you're putting down. That's cool. What about you guys? Are you guys going on a honeymoon after? Are you guys making a honeymoon out of it?
Oh, not now, because we're gonna already be there for like almost 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's kind of like
you're doing a pre-honeymoon.
Yeah, like it's already like a vacation. It's just been there and all that stuff. So like we're just and plus then we have a dog and a cat and we have to like come back and so I think we're just doing it afterwards. Like another time. Like we're not. So after the wedding, so. Which is cool.
When you get in that first day after all the trips, you're gonna get home. You'll be like, "Well, day one."
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. Yep. I know. So, but yeah, no, I feel like we don't. I mean, the fact that it's already a cool. Like I'm looking forward to it because it's gonna be like a vacation and then hanging out with a lot of friends. So, like to me, that's part of the thing. It's not just for the wedding. It's just the other stuff.
Sure.
And have your families hung out before?
No, this is gonna be the first time they're gonna be together. But the fact that my mom kind of speaks kind of like broken English, so and she's shy, so in terms of talking, they're not gonna be talking too much. So, like it's gonna be like, but I mean they know each other just through social media stuff. But yeah, it is gonna be the first time they see each other or be hanging out with each other. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. Now that I know this, I'm gonna be paying attention.
I know it's I mean there's a lot of things that a lot of people haven't seen each other that are also from like DC that have some stuff with them. So like but you gotta have a little drama just to make it.
That's right. That's what I'm trying to get at. Where's the drama? Yeah, exactly. Got to make it memorable.
Yeah.
There's a reason they ask if anyone has any objections.
Yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully it's not to the wedding, but if they have not having objections to him.
Yeah.
Why did you invite him? You know I hate him.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was the hardest part of having a wedding, I think, was just family dynamics, and making sure everybody feels included, where they want to feel included and all that. I found that to be the hardest part, but then it's over really fast.
Do you think it's exhausting though? Do you feel like it's a lot
It's a lot of work. I thought it was a lot of work.
And that's the thing too that I've been here, and that's why I want to, told my fiance too, it's like it's to enjoy it because it's like it goes so fast and it's like like might as well, and I mean nothing's gonna be like planned, so it's like might as well know that in the and then just go with the flow pretty much, and that's
you don't even know if you're gonna get married. You don't even know. You're just gonna show up and see what happens.
It's true. You never know.
Hey, go with the flow.
It's a process.
That I would say like as somebody who is married, and I was kind of bridezilla, like I was like very obsessed with the wedding and very obsessed with like all these details. And I had a lot of fun on the day, but now, 6 years out or whatever, I would say like the wedding's not that important. Like, it's just fun. It's just like good for everybody to hang out and for everybody to have the pictures. And then it's done so fast that it really doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. And I think that's like
the
the whole details to me. It's like, nobody cares so much. Nobody remember. I mean,
Nobody
remember the party and the fun times, and that's it. They don't care like that the napkin was rose and gold, and like stuff like that. So to me, that's why that's been my pitch.
Yeah.
We don't need to spend on this stuff that nobody even gonna care or remember about. So it's like, let's just do the stuff that's important, which is the food and the drinks and the music.
Yeah, that's
right.
really, that's all that matters. Like, even all the details later, people would have told me that, like, oh, it doesn't matter that much, but really all that matters, like, people go in and they're like, this is pretty, and they don't notice that you spent like 4 days picking like the flower combo to go perfectly with the table setting or whatever.
Exactly. They're not, I think it's like, I don't think it's, especially if you have a cool venue too, that's like, you don't need that much, that's another thing too. It's like, no, the venue is the thing. That's, you add other stuff to it to make it's already cool, whatever.
I will say though, if you put a whole bunch of work and money into obsessively making the best venue, I bet you could guilt them into a more expensive registry.
True.
Depends if they're traveling.
That's been interesting. Well, I kind of, I kind of screw myself a lot with that one, because I used to a bit about that because all my friends are getting married and everything, they want to, that's why I was like that destination weddings, and I was like, the gift is me. Like, why do I have to give you a gift?
Remember that joke. I remember that joke.
So, but I'm fine with that. So I'm fine with the people that are going that they don't need it. But the people that are not going, that I invited, and they're the ones that are like, hey man, you got a bunny up, you're not going. So like that bid has nothing, like everybody that's going, I don't expect them to give me a gift. I'm cool with that.
You just send them an email of like prices of the flights so they can kind of figure out how much they can give you.
There you go.
Hey man.
Oh, you went with the Spirit price? Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because and it's funny how I don't know if it happened to you, how people don't RSVP, like it's like, you would I'm fine. I understand it's very hard to travel, and to do all this stuff and to take time from your life and money and all that stuff. But it's fact that a lot of people just didn't even said, oh no, I can't. It's like, just say it, it's fine. Like say yes or no, it's fine. Not gonna be, but it's like, and I don't know if people just forget or just people are just afraid of not even saying anything.
Yeah, a lot of people are afraid to commit and feel like the pressure if they commit and then they don't go, as opposed to go last minute. But that's a human nature thing. I think that happens.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah, because I've been asking.
Hearing all you guys talk about this makes me feel like what we really need is like a marriage manager who can like learn about the families and make sure that they're so you can even like call the people that are not like they're being jerks, or because that seems like a lot. It seems like you need like a buffer of some kind, otherwise you don't get to.
Absolutely. If I ever get married, I'm gonna hire one, and on the first order of business and making sure everybody on the invite list has a credit score of 700 and above.
Nice. See, there it is. Forward thinking. That's how you do it.
Right. Yeah. For us, we got married in Mexico, and a big chunk of the guest list was from Mexico City, where I grew up.
Two income households. Just kidding.
Yeah. If not, the person will work for you. But there was a big, like, with the Mexican side, our planner was Mexican, and he was like, you just have to assume that even though they say yes at the last minute, I forget what the percentage was, but you're gonna get a percentage. You're gonna get a percentage of people in the first. So he's like, I'm gonna even like take away a table, because there's like a whole table that's gonna cancel on you the weekend of. And I was like, not me. My people aren't like that. And it definitely happened. Happened.
I've gotten actually just people that actually have been adding, like I invited them and then they're like, hey, is there still room? And
Yeah.
because I think they started, they get in the mofo of the other people that are going, and then they're like,
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, so we need a standby list essentially is.
that's right.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
funny. I was at a wedding this past weekend. Shout out to comics Nicole and Jamie Bennedy, who got married this past weekend, and a couple people bailed like last minute. So Nicole's like, "Holy shit!" I'm just gonna start calling people that were like standby or whatever. Like, "Hey, want a free steak or whatever?"
Yeah.
And one of them showed up at my table, and then it was awkward because she had to introduce herself like, "Hey, I was just like an add-on," and I was like, "Great, you put me at the fucking table with the second
Seat
tier
warmers.
bitch."
Oh my
Yeah, seat warmers.
Well, that's funny. Well, that's the thing that I didn't do. I only invited people that I just, that's it, just one time. Whoever, I mean, I didn't want to make like lists of like, if these people can go, because somebody did that to me, and I'm like, fuck that. Like, I don't like that. Like, that's like weird of like, oh yeah, sorry, this person comes, so it's kind of like second fiddle, and I'm like, I don't want to make people feel like that. So these are just people that, that are still, that I invited them. Now they're like, oh, by the way, I can actually make it. So it wasn't like they're like, I invited them extra after people didn't go, but yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like that's, because then it's like you're just doing it just to, like, just to like, oh, I need another plate or something or whatever. It's like, nah. It's like, I'm inviting people because I want them to be there. That's it. I don't care.
I've definitely been on that like second tier list before for destination where you get where it's like a month away or 6 weeks away. And you're like, come to my wedding, and you're like, I see how it is.
Yeah, I was like, like 2 months before, like, come on.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm second choice, so is your husband. Ah.
Your husband has to wait in the parking lot. Sorry.
So we know Francisco's getting married in August. Carlos, what about you? What are you doing in August? What can you tell us about?
So you got a new idea for me? Yes, sir, I do. I was thinking.
There we go. I was switching.
That was.
I hit the wrong button. That's how much I don't want to talk about getting married. September, I have August. What was the question? Go back.
You got a little flustered.
You got all messed up with all this marriage talk.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it. What are you doing in August other than going to Francisco's wedding?
So I have some stuff coming up. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be I'm gonna be hosting the Impact Awards with Annie Gonzalez she was on Gentefied. I don't know if that's still happening, but I'll mostly still be performing stand up and the stuff that I can actually talk about.
Yeah. What can you talk about?
Yeah. There's gonna be some stand up dates. We have Arlington, and we also have. I don't know if are you also going to Dallas or no? Or is it just me? I think
that's just you. Yeah,
that's just me. Okay, so I want a confirmation because there's a bunch.
We might, and because I know Elena, you've been doing the shows with Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
He does a show in Spanish in DC, and
that's right. You did mention that, so we might
actually. We might do like the Friday. But I mean, obviously, it's stuff that I told him, like, look, we got to promote the Arlington show.
Listen, there's only room for one promotion, and it's not for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that might happen, so I gotta contact him. So that'd be cool if we can do it, because that'd be great to be able to do that.
Those shows are so fun. This isn't the place to promote them, but they're really fun.
Yeah. So so we'll see, and then so that's but yeah, so we're doing, and then hopefully other more dates come up. We do kind of like a maybe every 2 months we've been doing a show in UCB, which is kind of like
nice.
Uprise Innocence Brigade Theater in Los Angeles.
Yeah, which has been great. It's been fun because it's been helping us keep working our the improvisation that we do with the crowd on stage, but also we invite comics to perform as well. So it's been fun. Well, last one was really fun. So that's another one too that we always promote as well. We don't know what the next one is going to be, but that's also fun.
And where can people get at you guys on socials? Where can they find you? What?
You can go find me on Instagram and at, of course, it's Carlos. That's at, of course, it's Carlos.
All right.
Sorry.
Of course.
In case anybody was wondering, of course.
Yeah, it's because a lot of times I'll tell people and they think I'm being sarcastic. They're like, okay, it's Carlos. No, of course it's Carlos. I'm sure that they know that it's more problematic than I thought it was gonna be, but
it's one of the things that you think is gonna work, and then like, people.
Yeah, it happens. People say my last name. A lot of times hosts will say my last name is the second part of my Instagram, because my Instagram's Elena Blondita, and it's happened a lot. Where people will be
funny,
like
your last
name.
name.
Elena Blondita, and they think it's
like, is that Italian?
Yeah.
Miss Blondita.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh yeah, for me, just Instagram. Ramos comedy, Ramos comedy. I'm all in Twitter and TikTok and all those stuff. So yeah, and then me and Carlos, we put all our info of like upcoming shows there. Because that's the thing too. When people go like, "Hey, when are you coming?" It's like, I was there last week. It's like, check that stuff. I mean, like, we're not hiding this. These are not secret shows, but we want people to go to the show. So it's like, I would say when people like, anytime you want to see us in a city, just look at our social media and we'll post it there. And then if not, just ask us and then we'll tell you, hey, we'll be there. But
thank God for D3. You know what I mean?
But looking forward to the shows on DC. I already got some people that that have already bought tickets and they're going, and then even one guy was like, "Hey, I might be coming from Boston to Arlington just to see the shows," because so
amazing.
I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Amazing. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So you guys, thank you so much to Francisco and Carlos for doing the pod. Catch them on September 20th and 21st. 2 shows each night, 7 and 9:30. You're at Arlington Drafthouse. Petey, anything you want to let the people know before we go?
No, just thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the guys for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.